Hi, I'm Dr. Shahira binti Hizam. In this video, we will present our research finding on the relationship between e-learning and student engagement among UiTM Puncak Alam students. We have distributed the questionnaire to 100 respondents from 8 different faculty at Puncak Alam. However, there are only 93% is UiTM Puncak Alam student and another 7% are recognized as a non-student.
Next, the objective of this research is to identify whether students in UiTM Puncak Alam are more prone to individual or collaborative learning towards e-learning and to find out the effectiveness between e-learning among UiTM Puncak Alam students. Hi, my name is Maisara Nur Fikriya and I will continue with research questions. So the research done is to find either students in UiTM Puncak Alam are more prone to individual or collaborative learning towards e-learning. And how does e-learning affect student engagement among UiTM student Puncak Alam? Moving on to the most important things is the conceptual framework. So as we can see, the independent variable is e-learning and dependent variable is student engagement.
Hi, my name is Nur Shahida binti Saha and I will explain the chapter summary. The effectiveness of e-learning can be greatly improved by utilizing new technologies like computer network, interactive media, digital technologies and internet. Throughout the e-learning process, students' engagement is influenced by individual learning, collaborative learning, behavioral engagement and emotional engagement.
Hi, my name is Amira Izuri binti Abdul Razak. I will present Chapter 3, Methodology, which describe and explain the research technique and survey technology that will be used to collect data for this study. The study design, demographic, sampling technique, sample size, and unit of analysis that will be employed in this research are also covered in detail. For this study, correlation method is used as the study design. To collect data of demographic, it consists of gender, current semesters, age, and as well as the type of faculty of the respondent. A non-probability convenience sampling technique was used in the study. The possible sample size for the study was approximately 100 respondents. The researchers used data collection from design questionnaires for the instrument. The questionnaire has been distributed towards online platforms such as WhatsApp, Telegram, and Instagram of selected respondents involved in the study. The questionnaire consists of 3 sections. Section A, demographic information. Section B, online learning effectiveness. And Section C, student engagement.
Next, in the chapter 4, I will report on the finding of the result obtained from the study. I will explain frequency from the statistic. Students in UiTM Puncak Alam are more prone to collaborative learning as the highest mean as shown in the table is 4.1420 compared to the individual learning mean score which is only 4.0925.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nidnur Izzah Bakhtiar Ainer. Now I would like to present about the survey rate. Survey rate, based on this survey rate, the relationship between e-learning and student engagement among UiTM Puncak Alam student, which is 100 people responded with 93 responded acceptable for this survey because the remaining 7 responded are not UiTM Puncak Alam student and this survey rate is 93%. The gender findings were reported in the table below. It was discovered that 27% responded are male while 70% are female. It not only accept or select responses from students. Survey response rate can also differ depending on industry students versus non-student and other factors.
So as we can see from the table of demographic profile, it shows that the respondents comes from different gender, various age, semester, and faculty that participated in responding the questions.
Next, I will present descriptive statistic. Descriptive statistic is a summary the statistic that quantitatively describe or summarize the character of the collection of the information. First, I will tell the descriptive statistic for the behavior engagement. What you can see on the table, the result over the show that 4 questions out of the 8 questions, they are not sure about the question, which is the mean error rate is from 3.66 to 3.97. While for the other student, they agree with the question that the average rate is from 4.06 to 4.17.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Aliza binti Hassan Basri. So now I will explain about emotional engagement. So, as you can see in the slide, this is the descriptive statistics of emotional engagement. Based on the mean scores, the results show that many of the students agree that with the 2 from 4 questions given, with the mean rate 4.06 to 4.07. But they agree more with putting forth best effort in online learning, and they also agree that try to be present or attend every online class with the mean rate between 4.93 to 4.26.
For individual learning, based on the mean score, the results show that 2 of the 8 questions who are not sure of the answer with a mean rate range from 3.92 to 3.95. In addition, the majority of the students agree with the 6 remaining questions, with the question responsible for own education, what I learn is ultimately my responsibility, got the highest mean rate with 4.27. Based on the mean score regarding collaborative learning, the results show that the majority of students agree with the following 5 questions, with the question group work increase knowledge through other peers got the highest mean rate with 4.29. Okay, next is correlation for online learning and student engagement. The correlation is 1, and it is found that there is a positive, significant and strong relationship between e-learning and student engagement.
Based on the hypothesis that the researchers have pointed out, they have found out that the result of each finding. For hypothesis 1, the table displayed the correlation between collaborative learning and student engagement. Based on the table, it was found that there was a positive, significant, and strong relationship between collaborative learning and student engagement. Thus, the research hypothesis 1 is accepted. For hypothesis 2, the table described the correlation between individual learning and respondents' behavioral engagement. Based on the table, it was found that there was a positive, significant, and strong relationship between individual learning and behavioral engagement. The finding shows that individual learning does have effect to the behavioral engagement. Therefore, the research hypothesis 2 is accepted. For hypothesis 3, based on the result of mean values, the table is illustrated. It demonstrates the correlation between individual learning and emotional engagement. According to the illustrated table, the research hypothesis 3 is accepted because there is a relationship between individual learning and emotional engagement. This is in line with finding of Wade et al. 2019, who found a significant relationship between individual learning and emotional engagement.
Hi, my name is Hafizah binti Yahya. We'll continue for the hypothesis 4. Hypothesis 4 is there is a relationship between collaborative learning and behavioral engagement. Based on the slide, we can see that there was a strong, positive, and significant relationship between the collaborative learning and the student behavioral engagement, which scored 0.622. Therefore, hypothesis 4 is accepted. Lastly, for the hypothesis 5, it was found that there was a relationship between collaborative learning and emotional engagement at moderate level, which amount at 0.567. Thus, hypothesis 5 is also accepted.
For the summary, Chapter 4 presents a short analysis of the findings drawn from the data interpretation. When it came time to examine the data collected from the respondent, the researchers referred back to the data analysis presented in the Chapter 3. The researchers used a series of structured questions such as a tool to fulfill the research objective.
This study investigates the factors that influence both student perception of learning outcome and student participation in a learning courses. The research tests the research model using the Google Form 100 on data collected from a survey of UiTM students. This research also hypothesizes that learn interaction moderates the effect of perceived student learning, and the data did show this medicinal effect, which was consistent with their hypothesis, and this could be explained by the fact that when students interact with one another, they are learning more, or whether consciously or unconsciously.
For conclusion for demographic profile, the respondents were from UiTM Puncak Alam and from all faculties. As we can see, the biggest contribution of this survey was from a faculty of business and management.
The conclusion for research question 1, the researcher applied the frequency approach, which is based on a mean and standard deviation calculation to determine whether students in UiTM Puncak Alam prefer individual or collaborative learning when it comes to e-learning. The technique was applied of two different forms of e-learning, which are individual learning and collaborative learning aspect. According to the result of research question 1 in chapter 4, most UiTM Puncak Alam students prefer collaborative learning over individual as their preferred method of learning. The findings are attributable to the student who largely agreed that collaborative learning has helped them in achieving higher education performance, allowed them to learn more from their friends, and taught them more about interacting with others than working or studying alone.
For the research question 2, the method of Pearson correlation was used to find how e-learning affects student engagement among UiTM Puncak Alam students. Therefore, it was found that there was a significant and strong relationship between e-learning and student engagement, which amount at 0.777. This shows that e-learning styles, which is individual or collaborative learning, plays an important role toward behavioral and emotional engagement of the UiTM Puncak Alam students. The collaborative learning gave a positive and strong relationship towards the student engagement, which scored 0.629. Thus, the researchers can conclude that students are more likely to engage in grouping learning activities rather than individually.
Next, moving on to the recommendation. First recommendation is to better engage all students and course users. Online course design must take the mobile learner into attention. Next is faculty should be advised to make sure the course content is accessible to users of mobile devices, since students would likely use a mobile device to interact with at least some of the course content. Third is offered a way to develop collaborative relationships with faculty through personalized instruction and undergraduate research opportunities. Next is instructional design teams to be expanded to reflect the size and scope of the institution's online learning. Last but not least, use a webcam for face-to-face communication. It can be simple to interact with students face-to-face by using webcam programs like Google's Hangouts, Zoom, or Skype.
Lastly, the part I present is a recommendation for the future research. The first recommendation for the future research is the research can offer the suggestion for the future research on how to raise the student engagement in learning. Besides that, the future research can use the moderate the effect to determine the significance of the relationship in the presence of the multi effects. Then, the survey for the student was neutrally by the research and the response rate was low. That's all for our presentation. Thank you.